Hello everybody, T.D.F.M here. Today's date is Sunday, October 12th of 2025. Now, today's video is going to be a little bit of a more serious video where I talk about something that I've wanted to talk about for a while at this point. And what I want to talk about is something that is unfortunately very commonly thought amongst people in general. Also amongst, I guess you could say, police or other first responders in America. They think this falsely. And you could say, well, what are you talking about? I'm talking about the idea that they have that. I'm talking about the infuriating, myth of if you can talk, you can breathe. Now, this myth really grinds my gears for reasons. Some of them are personal, because I actually am kind of somewhat of a victim of this myth as well, as a matter of fact. But this is not true at all. This is pretty much 100% false. Like 100% false, and comes from pure ignorance, absolute pure ignorance, from people that have like no idea what the frick they're talking about. Absolute just ignorance. Now, this myth originates from the idea that when someone speaks, they use air to do so. That's where this idea comes from, of if you could talk, you could breathe. When you speak, you use air, which is true. When you speak, you do use air. No one is saying that's not true, because it is true. But what they don't understand is that even though you do in fact use air when you speak, that's not breathing. Breathing, or respiration, is a gaseous exchange between oxygen and carbon dioxide in your body/blood. That is what breathing truly is. That is the purpose of breathing. That is what you're doing every single moment of your life as you're inhaling and exhaling, and you're breathing on a daily basis. Is you're facilitating that gas exchange between oxygen and carbon dioxide in your body/blood. You breathe in air filled with oxygen. It goes down through your airways, deep into your lungs and your torso or chest, down here, until it hits these little, like, microscopic air sacs deep in your lungs called, like, alveoli or alveolus, however the frick you pronounce the name of it, air sacs. And that is where gas exchange, which again is what respiration truly is, a gas exchange, actually physically takes place in your body. It's at those little microscopic air sacs deep inside your lungs, in your torso or chest. Oxygen goes in to your blood, and then it circulates or travels throughout your blood, throughout your body, to supply your body cells with oxygen, because your body cells need oxygen to live. At the same time, CO2, or carbon dioxide, which is a toxic waste gas your body naturally produces, is being removed from your bloodstream and put into the alveolus air sac, and then exhaled and released out of your body when you exhale. Okay, again, that's what you're doing. Every single moment of your life as you're breathing, you're facilitating that gas exchange. Now, talking is done by pushing a little itty bitty smidge of air up and through your larynx, or your vocal cords, all the way up here in the top of your neck. This is where your larynx is. It's in the top of your neck. Okay? And that alone should start to make the gears in your head turn. For me to say that your larynx is up here in the top of your neck, meanwhile your lungs are down here in your chest. Okay? You're starting to realize just how stupid this is to think this? To think that if you could talk, you could breathe? Okay. But to elaborate further, they go, oh, when you speak, you use air. So if you could talk, you could breathe. When, again, what breathing actually is a gas exchange that happens at microscopic air sacs in your lungs. Talking is done by pushing a smidge of air up and through your larynx or vocal cords to make them vibrate and produce sound. And it doesn't even take a lot of air. It takes a smidge, a little itty bitty smidge of air is all it takes to be able to make your larynx or vocal cords vibrate and produce sound. A little itty bitty smidge of air. It doesn't even take a lot of air. It takes a little smidge of air. And you can prove this to yourself right now by doing this simple exercise, okay? Inhale, exhale, blow out a lot more air after you exhale without inhaling, like as much as you can. And you can see, I have not inhaled, even though there's like a super small amount of air left over in my lungs. I can still talk and talk for quite a bit long. Because it doesn't even take a lot of air. It takes a little, now I've inhaled. It takes a little itty bitty thing of air, a little itty bitty slither of air to speak in a short phrase or sentence, which is exactly how it's possible for somebody, okay, to not be able to breathe and be in a state of, say, severe respiratory failure and be gasping for fucking air, but still be able to talk in a short phrase or sentence in between those gasps for air. Because it doesn't take a lot of air. It takes a little itty bitty smidge of air to speak. Just a little itty bitty slither of air. Which is how speech is possible. And someone could be literally suffocating. Someone could literally be in a state of severe respiratory failure. Literally suffocating. Literally asphyxiating, like dying from not being able to breathe. And could straight up die, asphyxiate to death, suffocate to death from not being able to breathe, but be able to talk while they're dying. Because it's not true. It's just a myth by the ignorant. And this is a very commonly held myth. But unfortunately, that's exactly what it is. It's a myth. It's a bunch of bullshit by people that don't know what the fuck they're talking about. Here's your vocal cords in the top of your neck. Those folds right there. Okay, those are your vocal cords, your larynx. That's where you physically produce sound for speech. And this is your alveolus air sac deep inside your lungs and your torso or chest. Okay? They're not the same thing. They're two completely different things. Okay? So anyone that says that if you could talk, you could breathe is an absolute incompetent moron that has absolutely no idea what the fuck they're talking about. Okay? No idea what they're talking about. And again, I've even been a victim of this myth myself. I have been suffocated for a half an hour straight. I could have died and nearly died. I could not fucking breathe. But yet I could still speak it in short phrases or sentences in between my gasps, my violent gasps for fucking air. Because it only takes a smidge of air to speak. And I was literally suffocating to fucking death in agony the entire fucking time. I've been a victim of this myth. So it hits kind of close to home for me. That's the whole reason why I know this stuff. Why I'm knowledgeable about this topic. Because due to my own personal experience, that intrigued me to study it, to learn, and to see for myself, yet again, that I am right, that I am correct, and that the people I dealt with were nothing but a bunch of stupid, incompetent, little ass fucking boys. That's all they were. I don't care if I hurt their feelings, because that's what they are. It needs to be said. They're a bunch of stupid, incompetent fucks. They're idiots. So, yeah. Hopefully this video is decent. It's already 9 minutes, so I'm gonna sign off now. There's like Halloween shit around the kitchen now because it's October. So, yeah, bye-bye.